In the Ethereum news today, guys, I'm going to tell you that everyone is absolutely wrong. And before you click off this video and think this guy is an idiot, he doesn't know what he's talking about, I want to fundamentally explain to you what I believe about the cryptocurrency market and, in fact, any market. Before I do that, make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and give me some support as I put my neck on the line for the very first time in 2022. And tell you that the market right now is not necessarily as unsteady as everyone is telling you it is. Now, I do believe that obviously FTX had a huge impact and the negative news is circulating and the sharks are circulating. Big money are in crypto now. What does that mean? Well, they need to buy and sell markets in the same way that you want to buy and sell markets. But they want to do the opposite of what you do. And how do they get you to do the opposite of what they want to do? They create news, they create drama, they create fear, they create hype at the tops of markets. They do the opposite to what you want to be doing. So I'm seeing everyone across YouTube right now telling me that Bitcoin is going to go to like 10K. Now, obviously, guys, that might be true, but I just don't feel that it is. When everyone's sat there waiting for the price to get lower and they're like, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to go to 10K or Ethereum to go to $700. The banks are not there going, okay, we'll just wait for them as well. We want the price to go lower because they all want to buy as well, so that's nice for everyone. They do not care, okay? They need to push you lower and make you think that the price is going to go lower and lower, so you get out or you sell. But if everyone's going to stay in because they're anticipating the price to go lower and then they want to buy, well, the flip side of things happens. So what I anticipate really happening, to be honest, in crypto is some form of push and then a dump, okay? And the reason for that is when they pump like that, everyone gets excited and the bull market in their head starts and then they rip towards the downside with another massive fear story like crypto.com goes under or whatever it is, right? This then happens and then everyone panics. But if you don't shake enough people out in an event like this, then you have to have more attempts at that. The reason I think crypto is actually pretty bullish right now, despite the fear, is the US dollar index, which we've seen declining aggressively towards the downside. I was talked about this point the other day being a key level in the market. We're yet to stick in this zone, although we are approaching it pretty quickly. If we jump across and look at the US 30, I've seen people telling me in the last few days, super experienced traders telling me that this was going to rip towards the downside. And yes, I might be wrong and it might still happen, but I'm still seeing this being bullish. We're still seeing continued strength. This is a weakening stock market. It plunged as crypto plunged as well. We've now seen it growing, but crypto didn't grow because of the FTX story. So crypto should be significantly higher than it is now if it wasn't for that news. It's unnaturally been brought down towards that level, and fundamentally it must climb back towards a higher level. I hope that makes sense. You don't think that I'm just some crazy delusional guy sat in his office all day thinking about crypto, although that could well be the case. Who knows? Before we dive into Ethereum, I'm going to tell you my price predictions and what is actually very significant and happening right now on the Ethereum chart. Let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, calming down. Looking into Bitcoin, 4-hour chart, we can see something is interesting, right? We had our bottom here and we are starting to not show a huge amount of information, but that's looking at a 4-hour chart, right? So every time frame is potentially interesting for us. Now, depending on what time frame you want to trade, I do recommend the more long-term time frames like 1 hour, etc. But actually, I want to show you something that's happening on a 15-minute chart for Bitcoin because it's actually very interesting. So what we can see is a push up and then this clear area, right? We had a few interesting things happen. A push here, big push, okay? You're right, guys. I am ignoring all this stuff to the left-hand side because in the most immediate term, which is our most relevant term, we are seeing this happen. Every time we dip into this area, we get aggressive buys. So it's very interesting, right? Look at how perfectly we get into it. Yes, we're dipping again. If we get another big push out of this zone, then I think it's going to indicate that Bitcoin is actually going to push higher once more, because I think we're going to break out beyond that pattern, and then we're going to see Bitcoin pushing to higher levels. This has big implications as well for Ethereum. If I take the Fibonacci from this swing high, drop it down to the swing low, then we pretty much get to the 1.618 golden ratio. Okay, so unsurprising, that'd be a push of a whopping 4%, just under 4%. But I'm keeping this very short term, guys, for the reason that, anything could happen around the corner. We just have the charts and the information as it happens in front of us. So yes, it is constantly changing. Just react to it as it goes And by day trading this, you only need to be reactive to information that's happening on a daily basis rather than leaving trades open for the weeks and days and hoping that something happens. And if you want to learn to day trade, get into my Telegram, which is linked down below, guys. It's like $10 a month, which is like 2 coffees. You have a daily quick lesson in there, which is all the information I'm going to be putting in my course, which is going to be significantly more expensive than $10. Also going to do weekly conference calls with the group members in there, and you can get in for Q&As, etc. on trading. So it's an absolute no-brainer. Dive into that today. Jumping on then to Ethereum. Significant, very cool. Right, so we can see a push into a symmetrical triangle. Notice we have a higher low and a higher low, and theoretically getting in a higher low. This third higher low is yet to form though. But what I want to show you again, something very interesting by sell zones. We had obviously this big push out here. We can know that down here there's a buy zone. Marked that up the other day, and the other day we had a video. Before this big push, we have this red candle, right? I'm going to mark the high and the low of that candle. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to drag it all the way across. What have we not done yet? We have not got into this zone. So it wouldn't surprise me if we have Bitcoin drop a little bit further into this area. I think Ethereum is likely to then do the same. And I would then imagine potentially some form of a fake out to around $1,200 and then a pump. If, however, we get an aggressive sell-off down towards this zone, then I'm not in for a long trade. I'm looking for trades where I get into a zone that I've already identified and then I get an aggressive candle coming out of it. Then I can get into a buy. So if we do get down into this zone, like a drop into here and then a big green candle coming out of it, I can get onto a trade. I can put my stop loss underneath this buy box. I can look for a 3-to-1, which literally means that Ethereum only has to get up to around this level, which is in line with these highs. So even if it faked us out, I would probably still make my 3%, whereas I'm only risking my 1%. Hope that makes some very clear sense. If you want to learn about how to day trade and how to make 3% of your account in one single trade, and I'll show you ways to get like $50,000 or $100,000 of someone else's money to trade with for like extremely cheap, where you can make 3%, which is like $3,000 of $100,000. Hope that all makes sense, guys. Make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, get into my Telegram, and I will see you very soon in the next Ethereum news update. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.